Hi Simmers, it's me, Kiana, or if you're new here, Creativity. I am wanting to do sort of a more slow and meaningful Let's Play series on this channel. I wouldn't say I'm doing a forever world in any way, but I do want to do a rotational type of gameplay that is all based in the same save file because if you're anything like me, you've probably gone through so many different save file creations, building, making characters, and then you just get over it. And that's how I've been playing my game for so long. So now I wanted to do something more intentional that made the game a lot more meaningful to me, and that's making the characters and putting a description in my households that I manage. I used to also always put down lots for my single sim, my one and only sim that I would put into the world. And that would just end up being fun for like a little bit because I would just put so many activities, cafes, restaurants, just like fun lots down on Newcrest and make my sim go and do stuff there every now and then. But the world just felt so lifeless. And I never really followed along too much with the lore that's behind the pre-made NPC townies that the Sims world has created. So for my own gaming purposes, I've decided to get rid of all the townies in The Sims 4 and start popping down different families from different creators off the gallery. And I am using MC Command Center to filter out any townies being generated that aren't already saved in my library. So, I am using a mod, but if you're on console or if you are on PC and you don't like using mods, a way to do that is just, you know, moving in townies from the gallery and evicting the current townies. And that will just kind of add more life and new characters to your game. So it just kind of takes this stale, boring feeling away from The Sims 4 because there's only so many times where I've personally felt like, okay, I have the motivation to give these townies that are already here a remodel. And it just gets really exhausting, like hopping into CAS, hopping out of CAS, and just going over and over again, trying to create what it is that you want, especially if you're creating content for your game. And one thing that causes a lot of mental load for me personally, and I'm sure others with ADHD, it just feels very much like if I want to create something, if I want to record something, I want to make sure that the townies that appear behind me look good, or they're not wearing like these goofy outfits, or like the CC that they're wearing is not broken. And doing this step with just completely removing everyone and adding the people that I want gives me more creative control, as well as just building a world of your own that is literally your own and not at the mercy of the lore that was already created by Max's and the Sims team. So I'm just going to be doing some gameplay today and showing you guys around my house that I've built for my sim Daphne Barnett. So I'm trying to think of how to introduce you guys to her. I think I'm just going to go straight into Manage World and read to you guys the storyline that I have for her, just to kind of show you guys as well where I'm going with like writing a description for your families. So when you go to Manage World, it shows you the households that you manage, and this is the Barnett family. I have her backstory is that she's a hardworking freelancer who loves to stay at home and kick back and relax. She's got no immediate family, unfortunately, due to being left in front of the fire station when she was younger, with no mother or father figure. She's been using this time as an adult to figure out how to properly regulate her emotions with like any huge things that have been happening with her, as well as just trying to lead a normal life and get by. which is very like, I feel like young adult, early 20s to mid 20s, kind of even like late 20s, realistic. When you're a teenager, you're in high school and then you come out, you start college, and or you go a completely different route. And there's so much that feels like you're still trying to figure out. And if you don't have like this really supportive family who's, been through things and they're there to like lend advice that's actually helpful and not just like opinions or fear mongering you based off experiences that they've had. Like, if you don't have that, then it's just kind of up to yourself as an individual to figure these things out. So that's kind of Daphne's backstory, and her whole persona is that she really wants to have that ability to be the mother that she didn't have, and she wants to have the father of her children be the father that she didn't have. So she's really set on looking for the right person, and you would think that that makes her really picky, but because she didn't have the loving and nurturing attention from a mother and father, she's obviously just going to fall prey to these very like weak and like kind of F-boy tendency guys. And so I kind of wanted to see how that would play out with moving in the Yoshida family next door to her. They are two brothers, Kaido and Takeshi Yoshida. They're basically like your run of the mill bad boys. Kaido is really sweet coming off, but he's actually this like huge player, but he tries to hide it. And Takeshi, he doesn't really like try to hide it at all. He's just like, this is who I am, like, love it or leave it. But if you leave it, I don't care. I got like five more lined up just like you. Like, that's his outlook on life. So he just likes to like party and live fast. But his brother Kaido is more of wanting to like be this like master chef. And I kind of came up with that because Kaido had asked Daphne if he should do a career change, and he did. And then he ended up like NPC, like autonomously going into this like chef career. And I was like, okay, so that can be your backstory. I in no means had a plan at first when I put these two down. And I definitely didn't have much of a plan with Daphne when I put her down. I mostly just wanted to have like a cozy, slow playthrough of the game. I wanted her to have like a girl group that she does holidays like Friendsgiving, Christmas, New Year's parties, like Halloween parties and stuff like that. I'll like insert some images here of these instances where, they've already had a Halloween party, they've had Friendsgiving, they've had Christmas and a New Year's party. So right now we're gearing up actually for it to become spring in my game. So I have done about 2 seasons worth of gameplay. This guy from the gallery, his name was Hot Guy Teron, but his name we changed to Ronan. I can't right now remember what I made his last name, so I'm just waiting to kind of like select onto him to put down his actual name. I think it's like Marlowe, Ronan Marlowe, or like Maslow. I can't remember right now, but when I put him down from the gallery, I saw that he's like got a successful career as a bodybuilder. So I decided to just kind of build on what he already has and who he already is. So I read that like Ronan's a successful bodybuilder. He used to be overweight all his life and was bullied severely when he was in school after being rejected for the last time by someone he truly wanted to be with. So it's like his high school sweetheart in his eyes, like the popular girl, like really gorgeous girl at school that, everyone wanted to be with. And he also just kind of fit the bill of everyone and wanted to be with her as well. But when he did ask her to the prom, he just kind of was like nervous, and she just said, "Ew, no," to his face. And so he was just like, "Yo, like fuck this, like this is it." made a decision at that point, like, I'm just gonna focus on myself, be healthier. And this allowed him to take on like a nurturer archetype, because him having this lived trauma and experience and going into the field that he's in is motivating him more to be kind to people who are in the position that he was in. And like any overweight clients that he pushes through like even their doubts and their like laziness and not wanting to do things. Like he pushes through with them and makes sure that they're able to like reach their goal weight or like goal lifestyle that they're wanting to live. So this is like the opposite of these two that I put down, and I'm hoping that autonomously they just kind of come together, because I did try like forcibly putting her with either one of these brothers, and each time their romance got maxed out, and their friendship was maxed out, like they were supposedly soulmates, she caught either one of them flirting with someone that's in her girl group. So her girl group went from being like 5 girls to just moving down and down and down. And so not only did she have like this rough upbringing of basically just living in an orphanage until she was 18 years old, but now any guy that she's tried thus far to be with has just kind of abandoned her as well. And she actually does get these moodlets where she is extremely hurt. She has a fear of being cheated on, and she just doesn't want to be left. And she feels like any guy that she has tried something with is not feeling her as much as she's feeling them. So, a lot of my storytelling so far has been concocted from moodlets and just things happening in the game, which has been pretty cool. She did get invited to go on to the romance competition with the Adventure Awaits package, and because I didn't have too many people in my in her like friend inventory, we did end up having to invite them on as contestants. So it was her, 3 other girls, these two, Corey Nyhouse, and some random pizza guy that she had met just on the beach right here. And so they all went, and immediately, like, I kept getting pop-ups that she's really attracted to Kato, sorry, I'm like, I can't even pronounce the name of these guys properly. And my boyfriend's half Japanese, so every time I'm playing, I'm just like, how do you say this again? But I wanted her to kind of like go for that. So she did her romance interactions and stuff in the competition with Kaido first, and then Kaido flirted with someone else in the hot tub. My dogs are tweaking right now, but Kaido like flirted with someone else in the hot tub, and she was literally there watching, so she got pissed off. So I was like, okay girl, like get your look back, and I had her get up out of the hot tub, go to the kitchen, and make out with Takashi. And so they just kind of, you know, she was playing the field while on this vacation, and I was trying out the new woohoo features with both of the brothers. And yeah, so she ended up getting pregnant, and she assumed it was the last person she was with. So she goes and she tells Takashi about like, hey, like I'm pregnant. She announces the news to him, and he's like happy about it, but then like later find out in the like sim profile that he is not the father. But it was weird because when I had her go tell Kaido about it, he was like excited about the news, but when I went on the profile, it didn't say like, oh, he's the father of her baby or anything. And I'm like, girl, what did you do when I wasn't around? Because if it's not saying who that is, you know. But at this point, like her and Takashi had like a bigger relationship than her and Kaido. And the girl that Kaido was flirting with, my girl Daphne, actually did end up whooping her ass on the getaway retreat. And I'll insert some photos. Like there's probably photos going on the screen right now from like editing Kiana, but it's just like, it's hilarious to me, like having some mods that just like make chaos more funny, because usually like the fighting animation is covered up with like smoke and stuff in game, and you're not really able to see it. So it's honestly, whenever I see even like NPCs around just randomly doing the squabble up interactions on the lot, I'm just like, oh shit. And it's just like so funny. You know, if you like modding your game, and if you have the capacity or capability of modding your game, I definitely say get that one. I did do a review on that one in like a different mod video. Like either put up here or put down in the videos. But aside from that, let's get back on topic here. I am playing in Brindleton Bay because usually another thing that made my Sims gameplay feel so lifeless was always playing in San Myshuno. Like, I have so many different worlds to pick from. Luckily, thank you, Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming. Discounted DLCs. Get on it. Get on it. Get on it. Okay, but I have all these worlds, and I would always gravitate towards San Myshuno because for me it felt like the most open world experience you could have. And I felt like more Sims populated without me having to like force my Sim to go out of her way to go to a club or a bar to meet people. So I just kind of stuck to that, but then I would get bored because I'm like, oh, like I don't know how to transition my Sim from city living now to like suburban life because now I'm so used to it. And then I really like building houses. I love decorating, but building the houses is really fun too, ever since I learned how to like kind of do more things. And I just want to give you guys a tour of this house that I built for her. It did used to have a basement, but I did get rid of it just because it's already like 3 stories and then another story down. And my main thing, for the most part, not wanting to play in kind of like a family style home was because I didn't like losing my Sim in the midst of everything, but all those times that I did try those, I never built the house myself. So I think definitely building the house yourself, or at least putting down an empty shell and decorating things and removing walls or adding walls where you want them, can be a lot more helpful for you to navigate like, okay, like I know this is here and that's there. Because sometimes when I put down random lots and move my Sims in there, I don't take the time to explore the lot and see, okay, like their bedrooms here, this is there, that's there. So I kind of lose the plot in that way because it's not personalized. So let me take you guys down here. This is the exterior of the house. I did use a reference photo from Pinterest, 2 reference photos actually, to kind of map out what I wanted it to look like because her house is right here on the beach. And so, you know, I wanted kind of like a Cape Cod looking house, and that's what I looked up on Pinterest. And this is where the Yoshida brothers live actually, and this is a gallery lot that I put down. Again, like I'm so glad I'm not playing with them because I went over as her, and there's just so much going on in bigger lots that for me it's just like I get lost and I don't know how to not get overwhelmed too much. So I'm going to start from top and then we're going to go down. So on the very top, which is kind of the attic slash her activities and hobbies room. Okay, sorry, when it's like too many lots up, my camera moves around crazy. But I love how this half wall kind of houses a perfect little cubby for her computer and everything. She is a notable newcomer, so all her freelance artwork paid off. Like she's maxed out on her skills for art. And so I'll have her paint occasionally. I don't know why the dumbbells are not here, but this is where she works out. She has a very like energetic lifestyle that she concocted on her own because she just loves to move around. She loves using the little bike. She loves doing yoga, meditation, and she loves lifting weights, let me tell you. And then this is just like a little like clutter art corner where, you know, her art supplies are. And she painted this actually, and it's like super cute because sometimes when she does paintings of animals, she'll always paint a dog and a cat. And for me, the way I look at that is that it's literally her dog Peaches and her cat Boba. I'll introduce you guys to those two as well. And I just have some photos up here that I've taken with the Snooty phone mod. Which is it's really good for taking screenshots. So like when you like pose your players, you can take screenshots with that. I also do have like the ISO camera from Ravisheen, and that one you have to set up on a tripod, and it's kind of like you got to set it up somewhere to take a picture. So this one's definitely a lot easier to maneuver, and you get to keep the photos. So now we're gonna go down to the second floor. And this room is empty, and she specifically wanted to move into a 2-bedroom house because she wants to have a room for her child who will eventually become a teenager, who will eventually like, you know, this will be her room. And I'm just noticing right now that my little window that you can sit on and do stuff on is missing, but that's fine. We'll add that back later. But yeah, that's her room. Little hallway here from coming up the stairs. And this is my Sims bedroom. It's a little lackluster on decoration, I'm not gonna lie, because I actually built this house on stream and I did it all in one go without taking any breaks. So after 7 hours, I was just like, okay, like I can't. I'm just gonna toss a bed in here. So this is still like in the works. Plus, we're just basing it off of the fact that she doesn't really spend too much time in her room anyways. And because her room is so big, I didn't really know what to do. What else? You know, like the bed's here, but if you go into her walk-in closets, and my purse CC's missing, but it's fine. Her vanity's right here. Her purses were there. She's got her little walk-in closet, mirror, laundry room. And then here is her bathroom, which I need to move this and mop that up. But, you know, as far as like inside where her bedroom is, it's not super decorated, but everything else is there. I used to have like a desk here, so this attic room did not even exist before, but I decided to add it because I didn't want her to feel like, okay, I'm cramped in my room. I wanted her bedroom to be just where she sleeps. There's no distractions, there's no radio, there's no anything that could basically cause her to not sleep through the night. And this is just, you know, get your hobbies done here. And then let's go onto our balcony up here. I have tried having houseplants 2 times now and they've both died. I think maybe it would be better for her to have them inside the house instead of outside because obviously it's snowing here and she's not in like immediate view to take care of it. But I really wish there was more of like an autonomy of her knowing like, oh shit, like I have plants on my lot. Maybe I should take care of them. There's a laundry pile out here. I'm gonna go ahead and move in there for her. We got a telescope, little fire pit area. And now we're down to the living room. So when you enter, I was actually going to remove this fencing because it's CC and I do keep getting a routing error. And from looking that up, something like this, which is not actually like in the game fencing, could cause routing issues to keep popping up. Which can cause like freezing and like sim idleness, stuff like that. Let me calm down. This is the entrance. Like I love this entryway. I love this like little arch and I still really love this fence because it gives her some sense of privacy. We've got her little house number. I even named this house like 2116 Beachway House or something. She likes to sit here and knit, sometimes just kind of watch the cars drive by. And yeah, let's go on inside. Oh, while we're out here, let me introduce you guys to Peach. This is her dog. This is a Lhasa Apso. It's a Lhasa Apso dog mixed with something else. And then her cat is also like a Scottish fold. I don't know these breed names right now. A Scottish fold cat mixed with something else. Coming in immediately, you have a coat hanger. And on the right, we have the dining room area, and the kitchen is cut off. I just really used to always make houses where everything is just this like open concept, and I hated it. I'm sorry, but like I know it's more of a modern look, but having too much of an open concept makes me feel like, okay, like where does the living room start? Where does the kitchen start? Like where do these things end? How can we kind of make it marry each other into actual house layout? So yeah, when you come into the door, I have these two platforms that lead up to the stairs. I've got the pets' food bowls on there, some plants, some more decoration, and just some like photos that she was going to hang up. But then like, because she got so exhausted moving everything in by herself, she just kind of put them there and didn't ever get back to it. And sometimes she'll just sit there and kind of look at it and be like, I should probably put these up. And then she'll just go do something else. But yeah, we've had many celebrations here at this table for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and just people coming over and them having meals together. We've got her little coffee and tea station. I did have some clutter here that got removed. Little side quest story. Yesterday, I downloaded a mod and then I went to clear my local thumb cache and I accidentally clicked clear local texture cache. And so I deleted my entire mods folder. And so I had to basically use the last backup that I had, which was after the August like huge patch update. And for the most part, things were updated, but since then we've had like updates and new pack come out. So it's not all been updated. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Do I not have a sink? No, I need to add my sink back too. But yeah, I was like, something's missing here, and it's not the clutter that I had. But yeah, some mods I'm seeing as I like play, I'm like, okay, I need to add this back because this was in my game that I added after my backup. So yeah, and then back to the tour. I do have this for just my dog and my cat to go out and wander around on their own, but I don't think either of them have the independent trait, so they don't do that too often. And then I just have this guest bathroom. So when people come over, they're not constantly going upstairs into her room trying to use the bathroom. And this window right here is CC. That's broken. That's why there's question marks. But it's so pretty. I don't want to take it out. I will update it. The one thing is like I'll always update my script mods. I'll stay on top of them. But like if it's CC that I got outside of Curse Forage, it's hard for me to keep track of and be like, okay, let me go update this CC. So it's kind of like a boot up my game, see if it works. And if it doesn't, I have to like pinpoint it. And then I really love this room. This is just kind of like a all seasons room with a more modern like greenhouse twist to it. I have Boba's cat tree out here, a little lounging chair, the litter boxes out here, and the dimensions of this room used to be up to where these plants are, but as I kept kind of expanding things and changing things around, things have gotten expanded, but I haven't really moved stuff around yet. But I think that's a little bit more realistic of like, you know, she hasn't moved stuff around yet. It's not me that hasn't done it. So that's basically the tour of the house. I don't have a TV for her because I just don't want her to be watching TV. I feel like with her being a freelance artist and just constantly painting and doing stuff and having her girl group and going out and being a little bit more social on those days, I don't want her to like sit here and just watch TV. But she does have a radio because she does have a really huge like for lo-fi music. And so I have her listen to lo-fi music. I'll show you her aspiration is a cozy introvert, and I don't remember what mod this is from, but I'm sure if you look up cozy introvert aspiration, it'll pop up. And it has like the homebody traits as well. Where are we? No. It's not a trait. It's just an aspiration. It's a home body aspiration. If you guys look that up, that's how you'll get this like cozy introvert aspiration to complete. And then her bucket list, right? Like her soul's journey is kind of like what led me to think like, okay, like she really wants to get married and have a kid. So that's kind of where the backstory came from. I think it's good to let your Sims kind of do a little bit of their own thing for a while, because then that will let you build on that without having to feel like, well, I have this story in mind, which is like what I did with my Entangled Hearts LP. I had my own story in mind. I made the Sim, I plopped her down, I plopped Damon down, and things didn't go the way I wanted it. And it made me really like not want to play with the family anymore, because that was actually my first family gameplay I've ever done and like LP I've ever done that like I kept up with. And the way things just kept going wrong and becoming chaotic on its own made me aversive of wanting to play. But regardless, like these are just like realistic ways that these Sims are kind of written. And the aspirations, likes and dislikes, like you can add these and those are in your control, but how your Sim acts on its own, like outside of you controlling it, like that's who your Sim is. And you just have to kind of let your Sim have some type of autonomy of their own so that they can continue on their life normally and like do their tasks normally, and you're able to just kind of view that and build the story up upon that, as opposed to like, okay, well my Sim wants to get married, but in my head I decided like she wants to do the Black Widow challenge and she's not gonna have kids. Like there's like two differing narratives here, and your Sim is going to play out the one that the game shows, and it's going to make like you wanting to play out your gameplay really tedious, because you're constantly having to like cancel things, like cancel whims or wants, or having to put your game in like no autonomy, and you're just constantly having to control your Sim. But yeah, sometimes just let your Sim do what it wants to do, and like something cool comes from that. Just let the game do its job. But yeah, that was the tour of the house. And lastly, I'm going to show you one other thing that I've just been working on, and I'm going to save and go to manage worlds. We're going to hop back into manage households, and I'm going to show you the other households. These are all households that I've like favorited off the gallery, like saved to my library. And with MC Command Center, they will eventually populate, but there's some that I put down myself because I have like some settings where basically only like 5% elder will spawn and 33% adult will spawn. I have it on 0 for everything else because I don't want like random kids, toddlers and stuff like that just kind of floating around, because then like constantly they're just like being adopted into random families, and I don't want to see that in my world. So there's ones that will say like, okay, this person's in Mount Comarebi, Willow Creek, Henford on Badgley, Brychester. I'm still in the process of adding people because again, like the amount of people I deleted was a very, very long list as opposed to like the amount that I've added thus far. And there is a lot of just people that I've saved. This will just kind of populate as time goes on. If they're not already in a household, they'll first show up as like kind of homeless Sims and then populate empty vacant lots. And then there's like from SakuraLeon, they have a lot of like random townies too that are very specific that will eventually get put into places. And for this, you just kind of have to keep a track of them. So it's like ranch hand townies. Like if I see them living elsewhere, I'll probably just grab them and put them in Chestnut Ridge. So it just kind of makes more sense with the fashion that they came with. But all of this creator's Sims are gorgeous. That's one. Another creator that I found that had some really nice Sims was UsualStory, as well as this other one that I found. Let me see here. MissPluto-X, X-MissPluto-X is one too. SimmerLarsey has good ones. Sims for Denise. And then it was like dark something. Okay, Dark Blue UK 75 also has some really good Sims, but I wouldn't put too many down from Dark Blue UK 75 just because a lot of the female Sims I saw have like same face syndrome. So if you want more variety, I think definitely SakuraLeon and like the other Sims that were mentioned have more like realistic, like diverse looking characters. And of course, don't forget to put down like occult townies and just other townies that have like careers that show up to these lots, because if you don't, then the game will just naturally generate people for you, which makes it tedious for you to have to go into that person's create a sim and like edit them, make them look better, like change their outfits, because they'll like show up in like random-ish. But overall, I've been slowly putting down families first, and then based off of like the families, I will either bulldoze their house and give them a new one, or leave them in the house that they're in, and just kind of putting amenities and lots based off of like, okay, like there's a lot of families here. What can I add that's more family oriented, you know? Like basically going off of that is how I am deciding to make my save file a little bit more meaningful, and not just think like, okay, well, Newcrest already all the lots are gone, so I'm just gonna start plopping down a freaking rave right here and a club right here and then a bunch of restaurants here. And it's like, in a sense, it's like cool. It's like this blank slate you can build on. But at the same time, it's like, why, when my sim goes to travel, they're just constantly going to Newcrest for everything. So it does give your sim some more variety in being a traveler. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you were able to take away some ideas on how to start making a new save file, especially I know a lot of people's has been corrupted and like everyone's lost the motivation to even open this game up anymore. But I promise you, like, there's still some fun to be had here. You just have to be a little bit more creative with how you're placing things down. And I really do appreciate if you have watched all the way to the end of the video. Again, my name's Kiana. Creativity is the handle. I do mod reviews, let's plays, some storytelling, and I did dabble a little bit in some machinima, and I do plan to dabble a little bit more in that as time goes on. But yeah, I just really freaking love making content for The Sims 4 and yapping. So if that's your cup of tea, then come on over and let's hang out. Bye. See you guys in the next video.